Hello and welcome to the Wedding Dish podcast. Grab your fork and knife and take a seat at our table as we dish on all things weddings. You'll hear stories and tips from real couples and wedding pros about love, life, and entrepreneurship. I, of course, am your hostess with the mostest on the Wedding Dish podcast, Sarah Alapin, and I am the CEO of Photos from the Hardy and District Bliss. Today, our sweet little French bulldog buddy, Clouseau, is not in his podcasting chair. He is hanging out in a sunspot outside, and he could not be happier. So you will miss his little snores, but I promise you he is very content. Today, we are dishing with the CEO of an award-winning Australian wedding planning and coordination company known for delivering seamless, stylish, and stress-free celebrations. And she's one of the hosts of a candid and entertaining podcast that pulls back the curtain on the wedding industry. I'd like to welcome the human behind JEM Weddings and the Weddings Unfiltered podcast, Jessica Major. Thank you so much for being with me today on the Wedding Dish podcast.
I'm so excited.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. This is going to be such a fun episode. So, a little peek behind the curtain. Jessica suggested this topic, which I think is so fun and is going to be just such a super cool we're going to learn a lot today. So, let's dive in. We brought some questions for each other about what weddings are like and how they're celebrated in Australia versus in the US. So I'm based outside of Washington, D.C., and Jessica, you're in Perth, correct?
I'm in Perth, Western Australia, so miles away.
Miles away.
I think we're 12-hour time difference, right?
Yes, that was what I was thinking. So it's 9:34 as we record here AM. Is it 9:34 PM your time?
Yeah, I'm here. Yes, exactly.
We are exactly on the opposite side of the world. I'm so excited to hear what is the same and what is different about wedding celebrations between our two areas. And I think this will be so fun for inspiration and all kinds of good stuff. So, would you like to start with your first question?
Yeah, I'd love to. I think you being a host of a podcast, you're always interviewing people, and maybe your listeners would like to learn a bit more about you as well, because you don't get to speak so much about yourself, and I'd love to learn about you and also about what happens on the other side of the world in different time zones.
I love it.
This is such a basic question as my first question, but I'm interested to know, how does a timeline look for a wedding for you? Like, I know here, 20 years ago, it was you had a church ceremony in the morning, and then you had a huge gap, and then you had an evening reception. It's not like that here anymore. Like, there's a small sort of gap between ceremony and reception, which is lovely. But is it like that for you? What does a timeline look like?
That's a good question. I love that I can see your wedding planner brain working in this question. So for me, it depends on if we're doing a first look, but usually we do getting ready photos, which would include details, anything like that. And then from there, if we're doing a first look, we try to knock out all the wedding party photos and the family photos before the ceremony so that the couple can enjoy cocktail hour. But if we don't do a first look, then from there, the couple, separately gets tucked away, guests arrive, ceremony, cocktail hour. If no first look, during that time, we would do wedding party and formal family photos, which usually takes like 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the number of photos. I try to move through them really quick because they're important, but they're not the most fun part of your wedding day. And then we go into the reception with the traditions or the events being any sort of welcome toast to the couple primarily from the maid of honor and person of honor or best man / best person, depending on, what who has what, wedding party setup. And then we typically have dinner and then cake cutting, and after that would be any sort of religious traditions that might, if we have the hora or something like that, that usually happens like right around cake cutting. And then sometimes a send off, just dancing and then a send off. So that's kind of what our overall timeline looks like. We don't have a lot of those like church weddings where you have that big break anymore either.
Mm. Yeah, we're definitely the same here. Most ceremonies are about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they go off for photos, and then like a 6:30 entrance into a reception, and yeah, and then your formalities, which are really mixed up now. Some people go into first dance straight away. Some people do cake cutting straight away. There's no rhyme or reason. Like you can do whatever you want to do, which I love. But
Yeah.
yes, like gone from the days of like a really early ceremony and then 6 hours that guests have to wait and then come back to reception. Like those days are gone, which is, I think, so great for guests, because having to go home and then sit around and then refresh and come back into the evening, it makes no sense. So I love that. And yeah,
Yeah,
it sounds
me
like it's
too.
similar for you as well.
Yeah, and it's also, I've had a couple weddings that I've attended as a guest where it's that big church wedding and then you have that big break of like at least an hour and a half for photos, but as the guest, like what are you going to do? I think for me the thing that's always a little awko taco for that is like you have like, do you change? Do you wear like church appropriate attire and then like change?
I know, right? I have a really funny story. So my sister, my older sister, she's 10 years older than me. And so I was her flower girl when I was 11. And they had the church wedding at like 10 o'clock in the morning or something. So already and dressed, did the ceremony, and then dinner was at 6 p.m. And me being 11 and also being like ADHD and just not comfortable with, like my dress and my hair being done and everything. In that time, we went to my brother's house for family to hang out. But in that time, I was like, nope, I'm done. I pulled out all my hairpins. I'm like, I need to change my outfit. I didn't have an outfit to change into, so I just wore my brother's T-shirt. And that's how I rocked up to the reception. And my sister was horrified. But, like a little girl between 10 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock at night, it's a big gap. And I just couldn't wear my big fluffy dress and my hair pinned and everything. And I still remember that. And I think, yeah, it's such a good idea to have a smaller gap for guests just to
Yeah.
mingle and have a drink and have some food and then go into reception, rather than this big space of time where you're like, where do I go? What do I do? Do I change my outfit? Like, and with
Yeah.
kids, like me being a kid, yeah,
Yeah.
just hilarious. Anyway,
And
my
that's
sister.
that's so funny. That's such a good point because kids are a whole different can of worms
Yes.
with all of this. And it especially like, what if you had been you were the flower girl? What if you had been the type of flower girl that has to then go with the couple to like all over to these different locations to be photographed? That might have put you over the edge.
Yeah. They came back so sunburnt, like my sister and her husband and their bridal party, it had been, yeah, they'd been out for photos for so long. They would have been dehydrated, sunburnt, and probably just
Oh, God.
exhausted in general to then come back to have the energy for the reception. It just doesn't make sense. So I really love that we've got like a new kind of timeline going on, and I'm glad you guys too. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it makes sense.
I agree.
All
Okay,
right,
here's my first one.
okay.
What is your typical busy season for Australia in weddings? So, like, when are you seeing like peak wedding season, and is it multiple times of the year?
Yeah, so it's changing, but generally it's sort of like September to January, maybe into February a little bit, because that's our summer. So, well, not our summer, but our spring summer, where people don't want it to rain. A lot of our venues over here are outdoors. So people are just really conscious about rain. It then sort of branches into like like March to May-ish, I would say. But it is kind of extending. People are sort of crossing the boundaries a little bit more into the seasons where it may rain, that sort of stuff. So like for us, like March, we're absolutely smashed. April, smashed. May, it starts easing off. June, July, August, quiet. Then we start easing back into it. Like November, crazy. December starts tapering off because Christmas and all that sort of stuff. January, people I think are recovering from Christmas and all that sort of stuff. So, but because since COVID, it's really affected things. People are having midweek weddings now, and they're taking like winter weddings. So COVID did change a lot with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely like yeah, September, October, November, and then like yeah, your March, April um, are always crazy, but it it's now sort of filtering into the other months as well. I know you're the opposite to us with your summer, winter,
Yeah.
but yeah, what about you?
Yeah, it's interesting because COVID did change things, especially because there were so many, it was so hard to get a vendor because everyone had to reschedule for a year and a half plus.
Yes.
So it was really hard to get like, your really core preferred vendors, like your venue, because you're not gonna like your venue is your venue. But yeah, so we used to be historically spring, which is would start like late March, mid to late March, and then run through end of June. And then I think around 2012, 2011, it started picking up in the fall. And so then from like the first week of September through mid-November got to be the like really high peak season that was very exciting. Everybody was shooting for that because in our area the humidity is down and there's less likelihood of rain during the fall. So September to November. And then we do get, we're not above the hurricane potential. So you do have to factor that in. Actually, in the fall, we've had a couple weddings that were like totally planned to be outdoors, like not quite enough space inside, like make it work, but there is no seating situations. And we've had a hurricane come through, and that's always just very disappointing for everyone involved, for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but it's interesting that, we both hit because your winter is like is our summer. So July,
Yeah.
August.
Yeah.
Um, do you all get snow in Perth? I don't,
No, never.
yeah, I didn't
No,
think
no,
so.
no,
Because it's,
no. It's
see,
interesting to hear that our seasons are quite similar, even though we're opposite. Like we
yeah.
have really similar seasons. Yeah, we never get snow in Perth. Our problem is the heat. So I did a wedding a few weeks ago and it was 44 degrees Celsius. So I don't
Whoa.
know what that is Fahrenheit, but
Hot.
it was fucking hot. And I was like, I was dripping. And luckily, the venue is 10 minutes down the road from me. So I just shot home, had a shower, put my dress on, shot back, all good. But yeah, it's the heat and it's the wind. It gets really windy because we're on the coast.
Yeah.
There are two biggest factors, but cyclones we don't usually have to deal with until last week. We had one, but it still didn't actually hit us, so we were okay. We were preparing. We were really preparing for this one, but it was actually fine. But no snow, generally no cyclones. It's heat, rain, and wind mostly.
Oh, that's so interesting. This
Yeah,
is so fun. I love
yeah, I know.
because you can learn about another country, you can visit another country, whatever, but like, unless you're going to a wedding, unless I was going to a wedding in Perth, I would not know this.
No, and I would never consider a cyclone to be a factor for our weather. Like we had one, as I say, last week, but it was up north. It didn't affect, like we had a lot of rain, but it didn't affect us. We were preparing for it, but it wasn't a thing. But for you to factor that in to a wedding season is amazing. Like we never factor that in. We're just like, it's going to be hot, or it's going to be raining, or it's going to be windy. Who knows? But cyclone or snow, no consideration. So that's amazing. I love that.
We also have oppressive humidity in the summer in the DC,
Oh,
like
really?
in DC. Yeah. DC is built on a swamp.
Oh,
So they like filled in the rivers and like that's where they put the roads and the sewer systems, like they
really?
used the rivers, and filled in like the creeks, like the small, not like river, like, but yeah, so it really gets humid in specifically in the city, but it does get humid outside of the city too.
That's fascinating. I love that so much. Learning, love it. Incredible.
So what question do you have for me next?
Okay. So I've got a few, so I'm going to try and choose the best one. All right. So this isn't a contentious issue. I hope it's not, but I'm going to ask anyway. How's the war affected the wedding industry for you? Have you noticed anything different? Has it not affected you?
So the war is going to take a little while to affect us, I think, but this administration has affected us in general because things are more expensive with the tariffs and everything like that. So like pretty much anything that you have to get imported is more expensive. I would imagine wedding dresses are at a significant premium now. And have been. So anything like that, it just is more expensive. There is also the vibes are off is the is the best way that I can put it.
Yeah.
The it feels I work primarily with LGBTQ plus couples and couples that would identify as allies in some capacity. And this all feels very heavy in this area. Like, there was a rush for a lot of our LGBTQ plus couples to elope when there was discussion about overturning marriage equality. Um,
Oh, God.
and so then different states were enshrining it into the marriage equality into their state constitution. But of course, if you are looking at the potential of losing rights, especially if you have children, there was a lot of like discussion surrounding how to legally protect yourself if your marriage is no longer a legal partnership. So you had to find, like, there are legal ways that you can still, depending on where you are, and I'm not giving legal advice. Please do not take my advice as legal
No,
advice. Everyone out there, not a lawyer, wedding
no.
photographer. um, but that felt chaotic and like a lot of last minute desperate like inquiries, like we're having a 40-person wedding, it's happening at a restaurant, it's happening in like a month and a half. Are you available? So,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
actually that changed wedding season because then I had a bunch of July and August weddings because people were
Yeah.
like rushing into that conversation started in like, I would say March, April, where marriage equality was being debated. So there's just a lot of overall uncertainty in the US right now and
Yeah.
turmoil. And I think, well, when I interviewed Sarah from the CEO of Honeybook, or not Honeybook, Honey Fund, I'm not sure if you do you all have Honey Fund there? It's like where you can, your registry is like experiences where your guests can purchase like dinners and like helicopter tours or whatever it is,
Oh,
scuba dive.
no, I haven't heard of this.
Oh, it's so fun. I'll send you. I love Sarah's amazing. She's the CEO.
Yes.
I will send you the episode and the link. I'm so curious if you all have this. Super cool. I mean, I love it because when I buy an experience for someone, then they like send me the pictures and I get to like see how happy that made them.
Love
As
that.
opposed to like, something that they might not use very often or they might use all the time, but then it wears down like that. You never are going to replace that experience. So,
I love that. It's a great
but
idea.
she said when I spoke with her on the wedding dish, she told me that a lot of people are going out into like Montana and doing destination weddings in less expensive areas out toward the like in the middle of the country, basically, like the Midwest and the West. So that was an interesting discussion too, because things are more
Mm.
expensive. So you got to go where it's less expensive and your dollar goes further there than it does along the
Yeah.
coast.
So, sorry, just sidetrack very quickly. So the tariffs you're talking about, um, I don't know anything about them. Like, what are you guys going through with these tariffs that are making things so expensive?
Oh,
I
oh,
know Trump
that's a,
put tariffs on like all of the countries, but for you guys, like, yeah, I don't want to digress too much, but I'm just so
yes.
interested
So,
in how he's putting it on you.
yeah. So, I mean, the way tariffs work is, I think you probably know this, but for any of our listeners, is they are basically a tax that for import and export. But
Yes.
when you
How
are
is that
importing,
affecting you personally?
so what happens is the company isn't going to cover the tariff. They're just going to pass it to the
Oh, so they just
consumer.
pass it right down onto the consumer.
Yes. So,
Brilliant.
like, the idea of a tariff as being like, oh, it's a tax. This is going to fill our economy. This is going to be so much better. But it is not, it doesn't work like that in practice because no company is going to like just be like, oh, I'll eat a
Absorb that.
25%
Yeah. Okay.
increase in expenses.
So yeah. So internationally, everyone's absorbing it, and you're absorbing it also. I didn't realize that was happening, but interesting. Okay, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, here's a quick question. How much is it, or does your car take diesel or petrol or gas? Diesel.
So we have two cars now. We were a single car family for 15 years. We just got a second car. One is hybrid. So it takes
That's lucky.
yes, so
Or
that
good
that is very
planning.
that's very lucky. We got that like a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And the other one, it takes non-ethanol gas.
I
I
don't know
would
what that
say it's
is.
probably it's petrol. It's petrol. We just use different terms.
Okay. How much are you paying for a litre of petrol at the moment?
The I filled up 2 days ago and it was $3.93 per gallon.
Yeah, so we do litres, so I can't convert that because my brain doesn't work. But yeah, our
Oh
petrol has
yeah.
doubled, doubled,
Okay.
like insane.
Ours has gone
Absolutely.
up
Yeah, we're
by
paying
like
$2.70 a litre at the moment. And before the war it was like a dollar, oh, like $1.20 something. It has
okay.
got, yeah, people are like stealing fuel.
Oh my
Like we
God.
can't
We're not
afford.
there yet. We've
Yeah,
only
we're there.
I think we've gone up by around 37%.
Yeah, ours has doubled, and diesel's worse. It's
Yeah, diesel's
extraordinary.
so bad. Diesel's like
Unbelievably.
$7. it was actually at a gas station when we were just driving because we were driving down. We're on the Chesapeake Bay right now, which is like south of where we live. And when we were driving down, the diesel was like going between two prices on several of the signs, and it was by like a switch of $3. So I don't know what they were doing there, but it was like it was 6.46 and then it would flip to 9.46 and then it would go back to 6.46 and I was like, are
Oh,
you doing
gosh.
surge pricing? Like what's going on here?
Oh, that sounds hideous. Hideous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
suspect the government is offsetting some of the impact for us. Um,
I hope so.
but that, I mean, yeah, this hopefully this doesn't keep going because this is going to
Yeah,
be,
I know. I know. Look,
it's
the
going to
only
impact
reason I
everything.
ask is like our florists over here are struggling or have been
Yeah.
struggling because all the flowers that we import have been held at the airport. So they haven't been able to get the flowers they've ordered. So, yeah, I was just so interested, like, from that dynamic of how much it must be impacting you and
Yeah.
sort of how it's impacting our wedding industry. And like fuel's definitely one.
Yeah.
But yeah, just flowers, not being able to get them. And yeah, I know florists are just devastated because they're so
Yeah.
stressed because
Well,
they don't know
and
when they're
it's,
going to arrive, if they're going to arrive,
yeah. And it's,
sort of
I
thing.
think it's honestly so the florists got hit so hard in the pandemic too, because they couldn't get flowers during the pandemic. Like the poor florists have been taking such a hit for 6 years now. Um, and flowers are already expensive. It just,
Right?
and
Yeah.
it's so hard to explain to a couple why flowers are so expensive. And so I just imagine, I feel so, my heart like breaks for a florist because it's just such
Yeah.
a hard time for them. I,
Yeah.
I guess I would say, I ordered, we did all local flowers when I got married. Um, but that was a privilege because like where we got married, we could do all local flowers. And I think that's what I would be trying to steer clients toward now if I was a florist, because like the
Yeah.
uncertainty, 6 years of dealing with this. I mean, it's just, and honestly, I don't know that you can go fully local depending on how many flowers you want. Like that's,
Well, not here in Perth. We are so dry and hot. Our soil is basically sand. You
yeah,
know, we have eucalyptus, anything else you want to grow. I mean, you need water, you need good soil, things like roses and all the really pretty delicate flowers. They're all like English based.
yeah,
We can't grow them here. It is stinking hot. They'll burn in 2 seconds. So a lot of it's imported. So yeah, I feel for them, but they've been doing a great job. But interesting to hear that you've had the same experience with florists. Like, yeah, I do feel for them.
I know.
Um, anyway, yeah, that's my question. But fascinating to hear your side.
I love hearing your side too. This is super fascinating.
Yeah, it
So,
is. It's interesting.
yeah, as a wedding planner, I'm interested to hear what sort of trends you're seeing couples integrate into their wedding day that you hadn't really seen before.
Ah, yes, I love this question. So I've seen at the moment, dogs are a big thing over here. Um, yeah, bringing doggos to the ceremony to be the ring bearer, or just be there for photos or whatever. And then um, on top of that, like dog companies, like dog sitters who will pick up the dogs, dress them up, bring them, look after them, help them down the aisle, then take them home afterwards. So it's kind of opened a whole new industry of like dog sitting wedding stuff, which is just so fabulous. I love it. I think that's the biggest thing I've seen recently. And it's so cute. Like I've got so many photos on my phone of dogs at ceremony, like a little bow tie, and like have the rings like tucked in or whatever, and they're just such a big part of the day. Yeah, that's a huge thing I've seen. But it can also be difficult because sometimes dogs are anxious and they don't like
Mhm.
big crowds, and then it makes the couple anxious because they're worrying about the dog.
Mhm.
And it's like, I know it's a lot for the dog because there's just so many people, and it's like having kids at the wedding. They're
Yeah.
you don't really know how they're going to behave because they look and see all these people and go, oh my god, like, oh. So yeah, but like it can be really cute, but it can also be quite stressful for the couple, and depends on your dog or your kid, I suppose. Like, well, if they're a people person or if they're just going to go, nope, I'm out, because kids and dogs, they just do what they want to do. They don't
Oh
care about
yeah.
expectations.
That's
But yeah,
true.
that's definitely something I've seen, like a big change, which is super cute. Um, I've also seen like a big change in respect to people who've passed away, like a lot of memory tables, memory seats at the ceremony, having a picture of someone, and reserving a seat, for them at ceremony if mum or dad have passed away, that sort of stuff. I haven't seen that before until the last few years. So yeah, they're the big changes I've seen. What about you?
That's honestly, those changes are very similar to ours.
Okay.
Yeah, which is super interesting. We
Yeah.
saw a rise in the dogs attending weddings and being included, even if it's like at my last wedding, it was at a venue that doesn't allow dogs. So at that venue, they had like the signature drink was the named after the dog.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is so fun and different too. So, yeah, we've seen a lot of the same things. That's interesting.
Yeah. That is so interesting.
And we've
Probably.
also seen people navigate away from the garter toss. Do you ever still see that?
I've never seen it, to be
Okay.
honest. But I don't stay that late into the evening. But when I do their run sheet, I hardly ever see a garter toss nowadays.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it seems quite old fashioned to me. And it kind of seems, I don't know, it seems a bit creepy.
it is. Yeah, there's something about it that just feels antiquated, we'll call it.
Like crawling up your wife's leg in front of everyone to pull a garter off with your teeth. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I don't even know where that tradition came from, but
I'm sure it's from
yeah,
somewhere.
I don't know, but I haven't seen it personally. But yeah, definitely, even the bouquet toss, it that's kind of come back now. It sort of
Hmm.
went out the window, and now I'm seeing it coming back a little bit.
Same.
Um, but more so people gifting bouquets to people. So I've had,
Ah,
I did a wedding at the weekend where they had these beautiful, oh my gosh, the bride's sister, she's a florist, she did the most amazing florals as centerpieces, and every centerpiece had a name on it, and they gifted the centerpiece to a guest at the wedding, like the mum, the auntie, the whatever. And I've seen a lot of that now, like to not waste the flowers, to like give it to someone at the end of the night. I've seen more of that than a bouquet toss as such. But yeah, the garter thing, I think, is hopefully buried in a hole somewhere. That's for when you get back to your hotel,
yes.
in my opinion.
I agree. It wasn't for us. We didn't do it. But I've seen a lot of super cool bouquet tosses recently, like off of a
Oh,
balcony. Um,
oh, really?
yeah, yeah. I'll
Oh,
send you
I haven't
pictures.
seen this. Yep, yep. Send me, send me. No, I haven't seen these exciting things. No, that sounds
Yeah.
awesome. I love that.
I was like, this is so epic. Like, this is how you're closing out the night. You're doing your bouquet toss. And then
Yeah.
after that, you can invite everybody up to the dance floor for like a photo from the balcony so you can get the whole group photo. And that usually, if they're doing that kind of thing, I suggest doing that. So, which usually works great.
Yeah, yeah. And you would see that from your, like, from a photographer perspective, whereas I'm usually gone, like, pardon me, once the couple have entered reception and are eating and they're happy, I hand over to the MC and he takes or she takes over speeches and first darts, and then I'm gone. So you would see a lot more after that than I do. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's super interesting. Love that. Um, all right, here's a question. What's something that you find you have to do that's out of your scope? Like, for instance, okay, here's another question. Most weddings that you do you have a coordinator, or is it like 50-50 as to whether you have a coordinator or no?
I think almost every wedding I work does have a coordinator now. And that's going to be part of that is like the type of couples that hire me. Part of that is probably my price point.
Yeah,
People understand the value of paying for the coordinator and understand the value of paying for a photographer who has 26 years of experience and a master's degree um,
right.
in photography. Um, so that I do typically work with coordinators. The one thing I tend to manage that is outside of there are a couple things actually that I tend to manage that are outside of my um what could be considered my scope. And I would say those are um I do a lot of timeline management, which because for me that helps me. Um and
That's exactly where I was going with this question.
I also have to manage a lot of family dynamics and guest dynamics.
Right. So most of your weddings you have a coordinator. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I know a lot of vendors who they don't, over here it's, who knows, like I think like 50-50 if people have a coordinator. So my question was kind of going to be, does a lot of that responsibility fall on you if there isn't one? And then how do you navigate that when you need to do your job, but other people are trying to do their job, and you're like, well, I need to take these photos and deliver this service to my clients. You want to deliver your service to the clients, but we're like clashing. You might have like a videographer or a content creator or something, and you're all trying to work at once. And if you don't have a coordinator, like how do you navigate that? But interesting that you usually have a coordinator. That's really awesome. But
Yeah, it
are there any
makes my
funny
life easier.
stories of where you've like had to go completely out of your scope? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but where you're
Mhm.
just like, what the fuck?
Oh
This
God, there's
is
so
not
many of
my
those.
job at all, but I'm doing it.
I God, there are some like
I'm sure there's
there
many.
there are so many. We had a couple this I am not putting any of my personal feelings into this other than the what the fuckedness of it. But we had a couple that like they were big hunters. That was like what they did on the weekend together. And their friends, like all the groomsmen, like they would all hunt together. And so they wanted photos with their guns. And this is the only time this has happened to me. I did grow up around hunting, so it wasn't like completely foreign to me. But they wanted to hand me their weaponry after the photos for like so that I would put it away. And I was like, I am not, I did not do a safety check on this. I don't know if this is loaded. Like, I don't want to have any part of that
Oh my God.
responsibility.
That is so funny, but so like, yes, like Yep, that's a no from me. Thank you. But that is hilarious. Oh,
My
wow.
eyebrows, I think, hit my hairline. They went up so high and so fast.
And what happened in the end? Did they just sort it themselves?
So I called the best man over and was like, can you take these? Because he had been part of like packing them up and whatever. And I had seen them pack them up. But like, if you haven't done a safety check yourself, you can't, it's like, it would be like scuba diving without doing a safety check on your own
Yeah,
air. Like, you just
yeah,
don't
exactly.
take
No,
certain risks. And,
no.
that's not to say anything about my personal feelings about any issues here. This is just what occurred. Um, yeah, I think that was one of those moments where I was like, this is way outside of the scope of
Yeah,
what
this
you're
is out of my
asking.
league, guys. Fair enough. That's a great story, though. I love it.
I don't tell that story often because there are just usually so many follow-up questions.
Oh, it's so true, though. Like I mean, yeah, like over here to get a gun license, you have to go through certain protocol, and and one of those things is basic safety of how to
Mhm.
handle a weapon, and you can't just expect someone to be, here you go, here's my gun, just chuck it over there.
Yeah, you don't know my background. You
If
don't know if
it
I'm
goes
like,
off.
you don't know if I know anything about this.
Oh gosh, I love that so much. I mean, I'm sure at the time it was not funny, but one of those things you look back on and go, oh wow,
Oh
just
God,
yeah,
that
that was out of my
happened.
scope for sure. Oh gosh,
Oh
that's so
gosh.
funny.
I have one last question for you, and
Okay.
then
Yeah,
um and oh wait, did I ask the last question? No, you did. Okay. Um
I did.
it's like, did we alternate?
We're too
Um
busy cracking up.
what'd you say?
We're too busy cracking up to
I
remember.
know we're enjoying this too much. We may have to do a second part to this.
I
This
know.
is so
Got
fun.
my mind. I'm good.
I know, I know. I'm jealous. I've just got my coffee here at 9:10 in the morning.
Yeah,
Um,
because you're morning. Yeah.
are there any unique wedding vendors you're seeing popping up? You mentioned the dog caretakers.
Yes.
Um, I'm curious
Um,
if you're seeing anything else.
I think for me, content creators are quite new here. I don't know about you. Have they been around for a while, or sort of a new
We
thing
haven't
with you
seen them
guys?
yet. So you told me about this, but you haven't told me on the show. But we have not seen this yet. So I'm so excited for you to kind of go into what content
Oh,
creators are doing at weddings for you. And I'm
right. So
so
you don't have content
interested to
creators.
see.
Yeah. Yeah. So content creators, they're generally pissing off videographers because they're a cheaper version, not really cheaper version, but they basically create behind the scenes little snippets, little reels of couples um, that can be converted into social media reels if they want to. Some create short videos for the couple to keep behind the scenes, sort of candid stuff, whereas videographers, I think, more sort of cinematic, longer videos. There's a big crossover at the moment between the two, and I think they're both at loggerheads and competing, and so they're both not loving each other. So content creators generally cheaper, generally shorter snippets, more candid. Videographers more, more of like a movie of the
Mhm.
day. I think you'd say. I don't really know, but they do have crossovers. So that yeah, content creators big thing. I've seen in the last year, 2 years has popped up. The doggo thing definitely has popped up. Babysitters, another thing.
Oh yeah,
Um,
we have had
you
that
know,
pop up too.
yeah, yeah, where couples, if they're staying at the accommodation at the wedding venue, they'll have a babysitter come in to take the kids. a way to put them to bed, and then the couple can enjoy their night without having to worry about the kids. I think, yeah, I think that's it. They're the biggest ones I've seen. What about you?
I think it's the same. It's interesting because the babysitter thing used to be big when I was a kid, and then it sort of like died out for a really long time, and it just started popping back up again. And it's different in the way that like they bring games and like it's meant to really be an experience, whereas it used to just be they would put us in front of a TV and just play movies, and then we would like fall asleep on the floor.
Yeah.
Um, which like we did that many times when my parents went to weddings and things. We used to, even if there was like a hotel, if there was like an event or something that would like, and their hotel would have a babysitter that you could hire the babysitter at the hotel. So your parents could like go out to dinner or whatever, which is also so interesting. I have not seen that pop back up, but we have seen the influx of that again. So that's really interesting.
Mm.
I don't think I've seen any other sort of where I am vendors that have popped up. There are a lot more balloon artists than there used to be. But I sort of feel like that has fallen back a little bit. And then there are some more experiential, I guess, like performer vendors that are a little bit more popular,
Yes.
like champagne, like people who are like um doing like crazy cool acrobatics and pouring champagne into a tower and like
Oh, wow.
stuff like that. Yeah, and they'll be there for like an hour and then they leave.
No, never seen that. But you have just reminded me, live artists,
Oh,
like painters,
yes.
is a big
Yes.
thing, which I love, where they'll either paint the ceremony, so they'll rock up hours earlier and they'll start drafting a painting of the ceremony area backdrop. And then when the couple comes in, they'll start painting, and then they'll take it into the reception. And for the rest of the night, they'll keep painting away for the ceremony. Or people just doing really basic little portraits of the guests as like favors to take away. That's a new thing, and I love that. It's so interactive. Guests love it. Yeah, definitely one. I've never seen acrobatics though. That's incredible.
I'll send you pictures.
Absolutely, you have to. I'll start a new thing over here.
I
Not
love it.
myself.
Jessica,
Yeah,
this
that's so
was
cool
so much
though.
fun. This was so much
I
fun. We may
know.
have to do a second part
I
as we
think we
come up
do.
with more questions for each other. But I am so thrilled you joined me on the wedding dish today. Where can our listeners find you online?
You can find us, gemweddings.com.au is our wedding planning website. Our podcast does not have a website yet, but it is Weddings Unfiltered. So you can find us on Spotify, Apple, all the normal podcast forums. You can listen to me ramble on like an idiot for as long as you want to.
I love
Yeah,
your
so
show.
yeah, yeah. We're full of nonsense, if that's what you feel like. Bit of fun. But yes, we have the podcast, I have the wedding planning. But yeah, the podcast is quite funny. I laugh at myself. I was listening to it in bed last night with Bjorn, my fiance, just having a good old giggle. I'm like, is it just silly that I laugh at myself? I don't know, but I find myself funny.
I love it. We will, of course, link in the description of this
Yeah,
episode to both Gem Weddings and the Weddings Unfiltered
yeah,
podcast. And while you are finding Jessica online, you can find us at theweddingdishpodcast.com, where you can apply to be a guest if you want to join us on the show and get all kinds of good info. And you can find us on Instagram at the Wedding Dish Podcast. We will, of course, tag you and make you a collaborator on our posts so that we can, make sure it's super easy to find you. Um,
exactly.
don't
Just
forget
like
to
I am.
tune.
So
Love
easy.
it.
Just a fun,
Love it.
so fun.
Easy is the way to go.
Oh, 100% in this world. 100%.
Yes, yes. Jessica, thank you so much for joining me. This was so much fun. And until next time, everybody, cheers.
Cheers.
That was